Respected elder sisters and brothers and younger brothers and sisters. I always feel very happy meeting with people, and particularly the younger people. Reason quite simple. Time always moving. No force can stop movement of time. As a Buddhist, Buddha also have no power to stop. Stand still, time. So time always moving. Then, past is past. We cannot change. The future yet to come. So there is always a possibility change, make new shape of future. So this younger generation, you have time, and we old people, not much time, frankly speaking. So these young people, you have time and also opportunity. And as an Indian, I think India, historically, I think among, usually I describe like this, according to my own little knowledge, the Egyptian civilization and Kazakhstan, Indus Valley civilization, the Chinese civilization. So eventually, I think Indus Valley civilization, I think really produced most sort of brilliant thinkers, philosophers, this country. So, and now today, India, most populated democratic country. In spite of some problem here and there, overall, quite stable, peaceful, wonderful. Although corruption sometimes is increasing. That's quite sad. India, generally, very religious sort of minded nation. Non-religious people, corruption, understandable. Religious people, little corrupted. That's a little bit surprising. So in any way, basically, India, I think really a wonderful nation. I think over 3,000 years, you see, you have the concept of ahimsa. It's with that harmony among the different religious traditions. So you nicely, they carry the song and some quotation from different religions. I think as far as Buddhism, you see, you mentioned Buddham Shanam Gajami, Sangam Sanam Gajami, Dhammam Sanam Gajami. I think this should change this way. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So historically, first Buddha come, and then his teaching come, Dharma. Then practitioner or follower of that teaching as Sangha. So, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Then, of course, further sort of, it goes, then Buddha himself come from Dharma. So then it's quite complicated. But historically, it's Buddha come first, then Dharma, his teaching come, then practitioner or follower will come. Okay. So you see, this country, I think according to the principle of ahimsa, I think religious harmony. I always see telling people and feel also, over 3,000 years, the ancient Indian sort of spiritual traditions and different school of thought already started. I think one earliest Sangha philosophy. Then Jain tradition, about 2,600 years ago. I think 2,700 years ago. Then Buddha. So, then there are, from Sangha philosophy, there are many different school of thought, non-Buddhist different school of thought developed. When we read, study, like Baba Bega's writing, all existing Indian philosophical systems is mentioned and make comparison. When we study these books, something like a beautiful garden, so many flowers, different color, different smell, different size. All variety of flower together, then garden become very beautiful. Only one flower will not be there. So India's, I think, one beauty is so many different homegrown, different sort of philosophical views. These, I think, you should feel proud. Then Zoroastrian come from ancient Parsi. In Bombay, very small community. Nowadays they say less than 100,000. But no fear. They carry their own puja, their own traditions, no problem, no fear. As a matter of fact, among the Parsi community, some journals, marshals, I think Manik Show, isn't it? Parsi. And then business field, Tata, Mare. This, I think really, from small community, they made significant sort of contribution for the nation, like that. Then, I think Judaism, Christianity, Islam, from outside come. Happily, they settle here. Because of these sort of tradition, Sikhism, Guru Nanak, I think Hindu background, but he deliberately take pilgrimage to Mecca to show the non-sectarian principle. Wonderful. So India, yes, from small sort of incidents that happen. I often used to telling India, over 1 billion populated nation, some mischievous people must be there. Over 1 billion population, like God, then that is not reality. So some mischievous people must be there. It's taken for granted. So therefore, you see, due to that, is just some problems here and there. Sometimes it happen. But all India, I think, really example of different religious faith can live together. Particularly nowadays, different religious faith itself dividing people and worst thing, killing. Such period, the India's 1,000-year-old tradition, religious harmony, is something very, very important to learn. Yes, different religion, different tradition, they live together. So I often, you see, expressing the India not only keep within your own country this religious harmony, but should be more active to help in the area where conflict in the name of religion take place. Even Buddhist country, Burma, is a Buddhist, some Buddhist sort of people, and Muslim, some problems. So I think India should take some active sort of today, role regarding promotion of religious harmony. Here you see there is the basis, harmony. I always is telling, as a result of now over 50, 70 years, you see, meeting different people from different sort of traditions, different religious traditions, and also scholars, and also some scientists, social worker. And now here mainly it's a different religious, not only leader, but scholars and practitioner. Then I found all major world religious tradition, we can say three aspects. One aspect is dharma, religion or spirituality. There, all major world religious tradition carry same message, same practice. That is practice of love. Affection. In order to practice seriously about love, all major world religious tradition also, you see, carry practice of tolerance, forgiveness, contentment, self-discipline. All, you see, have these sort of practice. So that's the basis of harmony. Harmony entirely based on mutual respect. Harmony not few nice words and a smile. No. Respect. So therefore, when we think that all major religious traditions carry same message of love, and we can see the follow of these different traditions, Christianity, Islam, different Hindus, and Jains, so on. Really, there are people who really dedicated their life serving others. I think as far as a Christian is concerned, like late Mother Teresa, wonderful. So all major world religious traditions, same potential to create such sensible, wonderful human being. Then, second aspect, philosophy. There are many differences. Basically, the theistic religion, all theistic religion is a belief creator. Non-theistic religion, such as one part of Sankhyaism, Jainism, Buddhism, no concept of creator, but rather self-creation. So there is differences. And for example, within Buddhism, you see Buddha, you see in his Dharma, his teaching, and the philosophical views, there are contradictory philosophies, but same source, Buddha Shakyamuni. So that means even among his own follower, there are people who have a different mental disposition. So accordingly, you need different philosophical views. So then obviously, now today, 7 billion human beings, certainly it's a different mental disposition due to cultural heritage and including climate condition and also past history, like that. So therefore, you see, we need different philosophical views in order to satisfy variety of people. And then all these different philosophical views, the purpose is same, to strengthening the conviction about the value of compassion. So, like you see, different sort of medicine for build healthy body, like that. So different philosophy, there are differences, but same purpose, to strengthening or to bring firm conviction about this religious teaching. That's love, karuna, like that. Maitri and karuna. And then third aspect, cultural, more or less, I think, cultural heritage. Some of my friends told me, when Mahavira come, at that time, animal sacrifice immense. So even to such extent, even you see some effect the farmers' economy. So such sort of period, the great sort of spiritual master or spiritual founder Mahavira come. And because of that circumstances, he specially emphasizes not killing animal. Any living thing should not destroy. So that's, I consider, cultural heritage. And then after Mahavira, Buddha come, he also emphasizes not killing any sentient being, like that. So sometimes I also feel the Judaism, certain sort of difficult circumstances, that sometimes you need some kind of the tough stand, right, under difficult circumstances. So the concept eye for eye, right? Eye for eye, that kind of little bit sort of tough stand because of the circumstances. And Jesus Christ, the emphasis, if someone hit here, you should show this. So more emphasis, practice of tolerance, like that. Isn't it? Then Islam. Also, I feel that area, Saudi Arabia, that area, when Muhammad come, I think more or less nomad. So nomad no sort of certain, rule or organization. So there could be more crimes. So he emphasizes in Quran, Sharia law, because of their circumstances. And then, if may I say so, all those religious teaching, when these teaching, start, the social system is a feudal system. So kings or rajas then rule like that. So religious organization also is sometimes a little bit that. Is it? Including Dalai Lama's own sort of institution. So therefore, I deliberately, voluntarily cease that system. Dalai Lama institution lasts for 400 years, automatically become head of both spirituality and temporal. That 2011, I seized that voluntarily, proudly. So since I often use telling, half joke, this Dalai Lama institution automatically become dual responsibility. Now this start during 5th Dalai Lama. So if 5th Dalai Lama reappear, what did he say? But there is no danger. His reappearances. So I decided. So this, the society system change. Now today, I think democracy is there really, I think, although some drawbacks there are, but I think democratic system is in spite of some drawbacks, I think best system. I think future of the world. I think eventually, have to follow a democratic system. At the moment, some totalitarian systems here and there. But I think ultimately, there's no other way. There's no other choice. But except country should rule by people, not individual. Logically, world belongs to 7 billion human beings. India belongs to, I think, 1.3 or 2 or 3 billions of Indian, not Rajas or Ranis. Like that. So today's world. So you see some religious institution, little bit, I think, some impact or influence the existing sort of society system. That part, I think, really worthwhile. We have to sort of study. We have to look, and if certain sort of habit or certain cultural aspect not fit today's world, then we should sort of change. I think this country, one drawback is caste system. Very bad, very bad. So recently, I think one family, their son, I think, married with another sort of girl from different caste, isn't it? Eventually, some problems started. These things, although may be part of India's cultural heritage, but must change. So there, I think, I always say, or I often, appealing the religious, spiritual leaders now should tell openly these things are backward thinking, although part of India's tradition, but outdated. So constitution give equality, sometimes not sufficient. So spiritual leaders, should speak forcefully, like that. So therefore, now basically India, So all major religious tradition, you see, can live together because of all carry same message, same practice. And a different philosophy, as I mentioned earlier, you see different variety of flower, then garden become beautiful, something like that. So different philosophical views are very useful. So this young generation, now thinking this line, is you should make effort, not only preserve within the country religious harmony, but also show rest of the world. Okay, now, so now, then another my commitment is promotion of happy world, 7 billion human beings, happy humanity. Happiness, of course, since we have this body and mind, so body, you see, we need this material thing. Of course, as a Buddhist monk, usually no dinner. So from early morning, I feel hungry. So my spiritual practice will not fulfill my stomach. So we need food. So therefore, we need material development. At the same time, we have this sophisticated emotion, unlike animal, very sophisticated emotion combined with our intelligence, quite complicated. So our intelligence, wonderful, but also you see sometimes a troublemaker, this intelligence. Animal, anger, hatred, jealousy, animal also have. But these sort of destructive emotions are not much dangerous. Our human beings, behind smile, gentleness, this intelligence, you see, calculate a lot of things. So anger, hatred is a combined this intelligence and sometimes really dangerous. So because of sophisticated sort of intelligence, brain, you see, we notice among billionaires, as far as material facility is concerned, excellent. But as a person, very unhappy person, we notice. So therefore, you see, we have to take care about a healthy mind, not only healthy body, but also healthy mind. Now if we try to bring some sort of temporary peace of mind, drugs or alcohol, these are wrong method. Since these sort of problem, mental sort of, unrestness, because of too much stress, too much desire, and so on, some other thing. So therefore, the remedy must develop within mind. So here we need training. In order to carry training, we need more awareness about the system of our emotion. So it is very, very important. Fuller knowledge. Sometimes I describe map of emotion, whole system of the emotion. then much easier to tackle these destructive emotions. So these ancient Indian tradition, various different school of thought, where the practice of shamatha or samadhi and practice of vipassana, there, you see, it bound to explain about the system of emotion, system of mind. So I usually call ancient Indian psychology very rich. So last 30 years, I have series of discussion with modern scientists like Richard Davidson, well-known, great scientist. Many scientists, we discuss, talk. We are not talking about next life or heaven or hell. We simply talking how to create happy individual, and through that way, happy family, happy community. So we usually call healthy body, healthy mind. So therefore, here I usually, share my own sort of certain knowledge, limited knowledge here about the ancient Indian sort of psychology. Although my knowledge limited, but among those scientists, seems my knowledge great. So that is someone used to told the reincarnation of our Lokiteshvara. If I am truly reincarnation of our Lokiteshvara, then no need study, already enlightened. So my case, since you see young age, I think 7-year-old, I start study, and with great reluctance. I don't like study. I like play. So gradually, you see, my tutor kept one whip to threaten me. I often, you see, telling that story. You see, when I carry study, my elder brother also, you see, with me, between 2 years differences. So my brother also, you see, quite young. You see, we together study. So at that time, my tutor kept 2 whips. One whip, ordinary whip. One whip is yellow, or yellow color. Suppose holy whip. So then I am very young, but I know if holy whip use any differences of holy pen, I think that's a pain. So out of fear, I carry more rigorously, study like that. So that proof I am not reincarnated, reincarnation of enlightened one. However, I want, you see, to achieve more enlightenment within this lifetime through effort, like that. So in any way, sometimes maybe because of too far is my expression. Compare ancient Indian sort of knowledge about emotion, about mind or psychology. Modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. Ancient Indian sort of knowledge is highly developed. Now these are really treasure of India. So modern Indian, particularly these young people, now please pay more attention while you carrying this present modern education and the technology, these things very important. At the same time, you also should pay more about ancient your knowledge, Indian knowledge. Then I think India can make significant contribution, combination, also the knowledge which is related with modernity, modernization, and education about inner value, not through prayer, not through recitation, but through understanding, awareness. More awareness, automatically, more kasoda get used that, familiarize. That eventually transform our emotion. So-called meditation, close eye. Now there are many people, I think, call meditation, and close eye, and even like that. That kind of meditation, even I think pigeon, I noticed to see from my room in early morning, some pigeon, no immediate threat, they also meditate. And also rabbit. So meditation is not like that. Some my friend, you see, in fact, some Lama, I know, after 3 years retreat, he told me his intelligence little bit decrease. I think that is, you see, too much sort of a single-pointed sort of meditation. Not work with our intelligence, analyze. So therefore, 1,000 years, we have the two kind of meditation, as I mentioned earlier, vipassana and samadhi. So samadhi is single-pointed meditation. Vipassana, analytical meditation. So combine these two things. Analytical meditation is very important. For my own little experience, practice of analytical meditation really transformed my emotion. Wonderful. So these are India's sort of treasure. So please, young Indian, please pay more attention. So eventually you can combine, you can make, I think, a significant contribution regarding combination of ancient knowledge about the inner world, and modern knowledge about external thing. Combine these two things, then world becoming more peaceful. Okay. So you already have, you see, this potential there. So therefore, I want to share, you see, future of the world. You see, in order to create happier future, firstly, you see, we have to learn how to deal with inner destructive emotions. Sometimes I call external disarmament, internal disarmament. So we need internal disarmament not by rule or law or threat, but voluntarily, with understanding or anger. The medical scientists, they say constant anger, hatred, fear, actually eating our immune system. Other hand, is a calm mind, very important for a healthy body. So therefore, I usually telling my own sort of experience. 81-year-old, nearly 81-year-old, you see, still my face or these quite okay. So I want to know, what is your secret? Now over 90 years old, and you also. So I want to know your secret. And as far as body is concerned, I think your body is more stronger than my body. so in any way, I think inner is a peace of mind is one very, very crucial. So that not through prayer, but through training, awareness, the whole system of emotion, whole system of mind. So through such education, then I think our next generation could be more compassionate generation. Not through prayer, but through training or awareness. Then I think man-made problem which we are facing today, a lot of killing, starvation, and then, as I briefly mentioned, within the country, very nice, but still some corruptions and huge gap, rich and poor. So these, I think, lack of sense of concern of others' well-being. Compassion is like that, sense of concern about others' well-being, and treat them like you take care yourself. And then the reality also, we are social animal. Each individual's sort of future depends on rest of the society. So rest of the society is the basis of your own happiness. So we have to take care about others' well-being. Then you get benefit, isn't it? Just self-centered attitude and others simply, you see, the basis of exploitation or telling lie or bully, then that person, deep inside, never be happy person. Very clear, very clear. I think like Mahatma Gandhi ji, he thoroughly educated, modern education, wonderful. But he almost appears like India's one beggar, isn't it? This inner strength. Really. So these are, I think, the result of thousand-year-old India's tradition, self-discipline, with wisdom. Wonderful. So, I often use it, when I met, you see, young Indian, I always share, you see, these thoughts out of my long time sort of experiences, like that. So, please pay more attention about our own traditional sort of knowledge about mind, about emotion. Okay. Do you agree? Anyone who want to challenge about that? Sometimes I jokingly is telling, with threat of whip, I also trained logic. So I love argument. So more sort of opposition views, then I want to argue like that. Pramana, you see, logic. Like Dignac, great master of logic of Nalanda Institution, Dignac, and Dharmakirti. Oh, you see, they are sort of also the writing about logic. It's really marvelous. All these come from India. So therefore, you see, I usually describe, you see, you Indian, historically, our guru. We are your chela. Meantime, I also say mentioning, we are not only chela of yours, but also quite a reliable chela. Because, you know, in Guru's own land, lot of ups and downs, but we chela, over 1,000 years, we kept this knowledge. So quite reliable. Thank you. Do you have some question? Some question? Yes.
What a wonderful session. What a wonderful talk. What a great journey that you've taken us on, Your Holiness. There's lots of questions that have come up from the audiences and from the students of our schools. I'm just going to read them because they've been collated. There were hundreds of questions, but we've collated what we thought sort of made up the essence of your questions. The first one, Your Holiness, is truth a relative term? How do you interpret truth?
Truth.
Is truth a relative term?
Truth, I think, according to what's the different level, there are many different truths. So in any way, truth very much related with honest. You talk honestly, then that means you talk truthfully. So I think, and then the higher or deeper about truth, then very complicated. I think over 3,000 years, you see, many masters, many scholars, as they try to describe ultimate truth. So then, you see, different views about truth. I think one thing I always say, share with people, the one truth, one religion, and several truth, several religions. In terms of individual, one truth, one religion is relevant, very good, in order to keep your single-pointed faith. But in the terms of humanity, in terms of group of people, then automatically we must accept several truth and several religions. So truth, then perhaps I think I want to give you one surprise. According Buddhist philosophy, particularly Madhyamika philosophy, then the ultimate truth is nothingness.
Your Holiness, the next question, if you could meet any personality from world history, which one would it be?
Kasa.
Any personality from world history, which one?
What do you mean?
Which personality from world history would you like to meet? 3,000 years.
Oh, then as I consider student, I myself consider as a student of Nagarjuna. So I very much want meet Nagarjuna. Because you see, I study Nagarjuna's text, and not only study, daily basis, even my dream reflect, you see, some shlokas of his writing. Very, very helpful. So if living Nagarjuna come, then, well, certainly, I ask some certain points or certain sort of his writing clarification. You see, the one reason the Nagarjuna's theory is very much sort of similarity to today's quantum physics. According to the quantum physics, we say nothing objectively exists. So that's the meaning of nothingness. Nothingness totally, not totally, none. Not a nihilism. There is, but not as appears. Everything relative, like that.
Can I take the next question, which is, what inspired you to live life the way you're living it, or do you think it is a compulsion? What inspired you to live life the way you're living it, or do you think it is a compulsion?
Now, getting older, but more and more people showing me smile and really showing seriousness about, you see, some of my thought. Then I feel, oh, I must live. Oh, I must compete in this lady. Oh. So, I think now nearly 81 years old, another 10 years, 91. Then you, about 100 years. So I'm sort of determined, according sort of certain sort of contribution to some people. I think I really determined I must live about 100 years.
Okay.
Like that.
Is there a man within you other than the Dalai Lama? I always describe myself as a human being. Firstly, selfish reason. You see, when I meet people, I consider I'm another human being. Then I feel a lot of sisters and brothers like that. If I too much emphasis, I'm His Holiness, Great 14th Dalai Lama. Then, out of 7 billion human beings, only one Dalai Lama. So then I feel lonely person. Then also, you see, before I came to India, you see, after the Tibetan government, you see, or Tibetan government or people recognize me as a reincarnation, and I always remain something unusual way. So I myself, you see, eventually, you see, some kind of too much formality or like that. Then, after I came to India as a refugee, then firstly, no longer any protocol and no formality. Then I developed, oh, I'm just another human being. So that really immense help to feel closeness, like that. So therefore, I myself also consider another human being, and also you see, other people also same human being, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. So then, the differences of faith, differences of nationality, or differences of color, or the caste, these are secondary, not important. Important is we are same human being, like that. So that I also see, I myself also practice that. As a result of practice these things, immense benefit. So my mind then becomes something, relax. I'm among the humanity. We are same. And that also, you see, brings a sense of responsibility. I am one of the 7 billion human beings. We are a social animal. I must take care as much as I can, serving others, ultimately serving humanity. I always say, telling our generation who witnessed events in 20th century, besides some positive things, but 20th century almost become like century of violence, century of bloodshed. Now, any sensible human being should think that kind of century should not repeat 21st century. Now, 21st century must be century of peace. Peace, inner
through inner peace, real peace can achieve. So, in order to create inner peace, practice of compassion, irrespective of whether believer or non-believer, as a human being, we really need think more about these inner values. Like that.
Thank you so much, Your Holiness. If you could ever interact with an active member of the ISIS, what would you say?
As I mentioned before, I think India should take some sort of initiative. I mentioned some Indian Muslim in Ladakh also. Well, here, I think India, you have, I think I never sort of noticed or heard conflict among Sunni and Shia within this country. And then Indian Muslim with other sort of tradition. You see, we have very good sort of also the feeling of brotherhood, spiritual brotherhood, sisterhood. So India, I think, should firstly some Indian individual Muslim try, to reach out other Muslim brothers, sisters. Firstly, not a formal meeting, but individual, go there and try to reach out. Me, as a Buddhist, so sometimes in the eyes of some sort of also some people, we are outsider. So I think, I don't know how much I can do. Of course, first, you Indian Muslims or Indian spiritual brothers, sisters, should make some attempt. Then also, I think the Saudi Arabia and Iran as a Shia sort of Muslim, Saudi Arabia Sunni. So some try to not government, or some individual, particularly some religious people, leader of Sunni and as well as Shia, try to make understanding each other. That's I feel. But in any way, we have to make attempt. Killing, we remain indifferent. It's immoral, sinful, really, I feel. But how to do, I don't know. You have to think.
Your Holiness, are you planning to reincarnate?
You see, from the Buddhist viewpoint, and not only Buddhist, the Indian sort of spiritual tradition, life after life, there. So, my own sort of daily prayer is, so long space remain, and sentient beings suffering remain, I will remain in order to serve as much as I can. That's my daily prayer. And when I, sort of face a little sort of disappointment or discourage, then I repeat, these words. Really, very, very helpful to keep enthusiasm. So this very life, at least there is some sort of, some meaning there, some benefit to some people. So therefore, life after life, I want, the first Dalai Lama, when he became very old, his age, over 80 years, like me. And then some occasion he expressed, now I'm too old. Then some of his disciples, he himself, top scholar, good practitioner, And naturally, his disciples, many of them top scholar. So some of them, you see, express, now you are ready to go to heaven or something like that. Then he responds, I have no desire to go heaven. Only desire is born where more suffering, more problem there, which I can serve something. So when I read, you see, his Kasada, life story, and I really, you see, feel some tear in eye, and I determined, I also, you see, follow that way. So whether born in India or some different place, I don't know.
Your Holiness, could you share something about yourself which nobody knows? Yet.
I love sleep. And also for physical health, sleep is very important. You know, every night, 8 to 9 hours, very sound sleep. Although I get up in morning, always 3 o'clock. Then some meditation, or as I mentioned earlier, analytical meditation. Then I think evening about 6 or 6:30, I went to sleep. So sometimes I describe, I'm Dalai Lama of sleep. I really love sleep. And I think daytime, thinking, compassion, these things. So during sleep also, you see, sometimes you see more sort of practice of firstly altruism or compassion. And then also you see one Nagarjuna's theory of emptiness in dream time. Very helpful, very, very helpful. So because of these practice, I think almost no sort of nightmare. If daytime, more fear, more anger, then more possibility of nightmare. Yes.
Your Holiness, what is your concept of happiness?
Mainly, you see, some satisfaction or joyfulness which brought by sensorial experiences, like seeing, you see, some beautiful scenery or something, or including sports, and then through hearing music or food, smell, touch, including sex. Now these mental levels of joyfulness is heavily depend on sensory level experiences. This is not long lasting. Now mental level, also the satisfaction, like you see, faith, prayer, faith, and practice of karuna, or you see, not sort of relying on sensorial experiences, simply through reasons and thinking, mental level. That kind of joyfulness is, I feel, real joyfulness and something unique about a human being, not other animals. So we have, sometimes I describe, according to the creation or creator, then I think this marvelous brain is best gift of God. So we must use that brain more positive way. Actually, we are son of God. That means, or children of God. That means God, infinite love. So our Father, like infinite love. So we, children of that, so must be more loving, kind way, loving kind being. So, the concept of God, Creator, very powerful, very powerful. Like that. So, the mental level, sort of tranquility, relax, is long-lasting joyfulness.
Thank you so much. The last
So
question.
one time in Barcelona, Spain, I met one Catholic monk. The organizer, he told me the story of that monk. That Catholic monk, 5 years behind that monastery, or Montserrat or something they call Montserrat, behind that some mountain. So that monk spent 5 years in the mountain, hermit life. You see, without much hot meal, just tea and bread. When I met him, I asked, I was told, you spent 5 years in the mountain or hermit life. What kind of you practice during those periods? Then he sort of immediately respond, meditate on love. When he mentioned that, I noticed in his eyes some special sort of signs or significance. So that person, hermit life, is mentally much happier than some of these the Indian millionaires or billionaires. They say, I think, I don't know, you are a billionaire
No,
or
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm poor. She is.
Really? Millionaire.
She's like that.
So in any way, you see, I have some friend, some American, actually I think billionaire, very rich.
Wow.
But when we met, after nice sort of exchange, some few words, then gradually, we start talks about the reality. And then I noticed very unhappy person. So billions of money fail to bring inner peace, inner happiness. So this Catholic monk, very simplicity, a simple life, right? Hermit life, be very happy. So mental level happiness is much more important than physical level, sensory level happiness.
Your Holiness.
Then I want to share one sort of the experience. Since that Catholic monk's English, I think very poor. I think poorer than my English. So I have more courage to discuss with him my broken English. Like that.
The last question, Your Holiness. There are struggles of a parent while bringing up children. How can a parent balance between internal and external conflict and ensure children learn what is right?
I think that's the wrong person to ask. I have no children, no experience how to deal with children. So better to ask these old ladies, old sort of gentlemen, you should ask them. I don't know. Frankly speaking, if I sort of take care children, especially some naughty children, I think I cannot spend more days, I think.
Naughty children.
Sometimes when I watching some children very naughty, then sometimes I remember my own tutor's whip. Oh,
And I think the final question is that many students wanted to know, because you have a lot of followers from Hollywood, Richard Gere and many others. How are
I
they?
don't know.
How are your relationships with them?
oh, Richard Gere, I know since many years. I think firstly, he developed interest about Zen practice. Zen. Yes, very good, wonderful. Then eventually we met and he practiced, I think, quite seriously and also learning. So one occasion, you see, he told me, you see, because of his practice, you see, in spite of some family problem, you see, he have the ability to keep peace of mind. He mentioned like that. So like that. So he actually got some benefit, or like that. So he also, I think, list of, because of blacklist, he cannot go to China.
He is not allowed to go to China.
No, not allowed.
Thank you so very much, Your Holiness, for a wonderful interactive session with us. Let's give a very big hand, please, ladies and gentlemen.
So finally, I really appreciate the elder people as well as younger people. I think all really showing interest or listen attentively. So I very much appreciate. So now, the point which I mentioned is, I believe how to create happy individual, happy family, happy society, then happy India, then finally happy world, happy humanity. So please think more seriously and also you should discuss among yourself and how to create more compassionate friends, more compassionate families, and more compassionate neighbors. That's the way. So human society, humanity means combination of individual. So change must start from individual. Yeah. So therefore, each of us, including myself, you see, we have to take a sense of responsibility. Usually I call sense of universal responsibility or sense of global responsibility. We are part of the globe, right? Humanity, like that. So then, as I mentioned earlier, you Indian, you already have great potential. Now utilize this potential. Thank you.
I'd be grateful if Mrs. Kumar would just say a minute.
What can I say at this wonderful moment in time? Having the blessings of His Holiness on all of us, our Springdalian family. I can't tell you, my young brother, since you call me elder sister, what this means to all of us. We are going back stimulated, inspired, with increase of energy to follow the beautiful thoughts that you have given us today of how to serve humanity as long as we have breath in our body. I have a personal problem. I don't know whether you can solve it for me. I love everyone, and that you ask me, what's the secret of my long life? It is the love that I get from this great family and my darling young Springdalians in whom I place my love, my trust, that they will build a better world for everyone to live in peace and love and harmony. And I assure you, Your Holiness, every word which you have spoken today, I know has penetrated into their hearts, into their minds. I can't thank you enough for all this. I have only one problem. Help me. How do I face the one enemy in my life? Old man time. I can't. He's on me all the time. He takes away my sight. He takes away my hearing. He takes away my mobility. But still I have in me the zest to go on a little longer. And today, you have given me new hope, new hope. Thank you. We love you. May you live on and give inspiration to more and more people in this troubled world of ours.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I say, the Dalai Lama symbolizes in himself three wonderful H's. The quality of humility, the greatest quality that any human being can have. The quality of service to humanity. And the third H, humor. How he makes us all laugh. That is the wonderful thing. Laugh, and the world laughs with you.